Good morning. It is what? It is Saturday morning, probably about 6:45. I'm still a little tired, but I have a lot of stuff I want to get done today. Starting with, I'm going to pull some of the dirt and stuff out of the chicken run so I can use it for planting and things. I'm just gonna add it to my soil bucket and then add a bunch of soil amendments to it, like bone meal and blood meal, worm castings, all the good stuff. This coffee's good. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna start with that. Then I bought a crepe myrtle. My husband, if you know him, hates crepe myrtles, hates them. I think they're very pretty. If they're put in the right spot, then they're not such a nuisance. So I'm gonna go find a spot for that one. I got it at Walmart for 20 bucks. I planted a bunch of plants last night. I planted some Texas sage, I planted some Asian jasmine, and I planted some pampas grass in the front flower bed because the grass in there just takes over and I cannot handle all the grass and the weeds. So my goal is just to shove a bunch of plants in there that look pretty and have it overgrow the garden or the flower bed. So that way no grass or weeds can grow in there and I don't have to look at it. And I don't have to put mulch down every year because the mulch looks terrible. It's all dried out and it's not pretty. Okay, so dirt out of the run, plant the crepe myrtle, and then I want to start more seeds. So I got a seed tray. I think it's 52 cell seed tray. And I'm gonna start some seeds today. I don't know what I'm gonna start. Let me show you the sunflowers I got. Okay. So I got the teddy bear. How cute. I couldn't resist. This is actually like a container variety, and so I might just plant this in one of my extra pots, or a couple, depending on how much dirt I can get out of the run and make it look good. And then I got the mammoth. These are really pretty. So I might start those. I got the giant hybrid and the moonshine. Very pretty. So I have those. And then I think I'll start my next round of seeds in August. Or maybe leading up to August. I don't know. So I might just do sunflowers today. That's probably good. And I want to get more tomato seeds because my tomato plants, I talked about them yellowing on the inside, and I cut back on my watering quite a bit just because I feel like, if anything, that's something I can control. And so if I cut back on my watering or put more water out, that's all in my control, and I feel better about that. And then I can directly know what's causing it. But I cut back on my watering and the yellowing has calmed down a bit. So I think maybe it was a water issue. I don't know. I'm going to add either bone meal or blood meal today. Probably blood meal because it's a little bit higher in nitrogen to the soil today, and see if that makes any difference at all. Well, I don't know where I was going with that. Starting more tomato seeds. So there's a thing, and I didn't know it was a thing, called succession planting, where basically you're growing one type of crop, and then when it's finished and done, you already have another start going. So like you plant your crop, you let it go for a little while, you plant another seed of that same crop. Then when that first crop is done, your seed is now a seedling and you can put it into the ground. And so you're constantly rotating the same crop. That's nuts to me, nuts. And I want to try it. So I don't know, I might do that with my tomatoes and probably my beets. Well, beets I'm going to start again in August. I'm going to do a whole fall planting in August. I'm excited for that one because it's gonna like rearrange my garden some. I will say though, my chickens love it when I'm home early in the morning. Let them out so they can get that dewy grass. I think it's their favorite. Anyway, so let's get started. That's what's on the agenda today. Another thing I want to do today, I don't know why I didn't mention it earlier. A part of why I'm pulling some of this dirt out is because I'm going to replace it. So I'm replacing it with topsoil, I'm replacing it with peat humus, and I'm going to replace it with pine bark nuggets. So I'm going to throw all of that in the run. I'm going to do 3 bags of pine bark nuggets a piece on either side. 1 bag of the peat humus, I'm just going to spread it throughout, and then the topsoil, I think I got 8 bags. My husband needs a few, so maybe 3 bags each on both sides. So let's go ahead and do that. It's Bevo. Say hi, Bevo. Okay, come into the shop. This is where I have everything. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna also put my stepping stones out. Okay. All of this has got to move. Okay, are we ready for this? Oh, and here's my seed tray I want to show you. Right here. Oh, 72 cell, not 52. That's close. So I'm gonna start my sunnies. I'm gonna start my sunflowers in this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put, I think I'm gonna do the nuggets first and put the topsoil on top. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like I want the nuggets to break down, and I also want the chickens to have a cool place to chill. And I think the topsoil is going to provide that for them. Okay, I've got all my bags moved over here, and now I'm gonna go ahead and spread them out in the run. I like to do this at least once a year for the chickens because they will tear all of this ground up. So I like to put out the mulch, the pine bark nuggets, and then this year I'm gonna put topsoil. Just because it's so hot, and I feel like that topsoil, yes, it gets really hot, but I feel like the topsoil will hold the moisture a little bit better, and then maybe make it a little cooler on the ground, so when they dust bathe or when they dig themselves into the ground to cool off, you know, it might be a little cooler. I don't know. So we're gonna try it this year. It'll be my first year putting topsoil in here, but they have just tore up this ground. So we have to replenish it every year. Okay. Make it a little bit more difficult this year because I added a third waterer, but I just feel like it's so hot that they need something. They need more water. So I put their buckets of freestanding water out, and then I also put 2 waterers and 1 feed. Spread this mulch. This is a good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot better. I feel like with the pine bark, it's a little bit thicker in size, and I feel like it would take longer for it to break down. And it holds its moisture, and it smells better than regular mulch. There's one bag. Okay, I finished the chicken coop, or the chicken run, I should say. Chicken run is completely revamped, ready to go. I'm pouring sweat, I'm dying. And now we're gonna go plant a crepe myrtle. You ready to plant a crepe myrtle? I'm not. This is a dynamite crepe myrtle. It's gonna get about 20 feet tall. Probably planting it too close to the house, but by the time it gets 20 feet tall, we'll probably be moved on. Sorry to the next homeowners. This is gonna be like a bright red. You can kind of see there. I just broke that off. Anyway, so when I plant, I'm gonna tap the bottom. This one's already pretty loose. They put a lot of fertilizer in here, so I like to save that. So I usually put whatever's left in the bucket in the bottom of the hole. Now the hole, I think they say the rule of thumb is twice the bucket size. I don't think that's really necessary. I think loosening up the dirt around it, that way your roots have somewhere to go easily, is good. But you can see this one's pretty compact. It looks like the pot is still on it, and it's not, and that's not good. So you just want to break it up. That way those roots have somewhere to go, and they're not just going round and round and round and round and not getting any water to the inside of the plant. So you can do this with a knife, or you can just do this with your hands. I want it to not look like it still has the pot on it. So I'm just gonna break it up. Make sure I get a little bit on the inside. It's probably good. Smooth out my dirt, stick it in. I don't want it to be quite level with the ground. I want it to have a little bit lower so I can plant a little bit deeper. And then just start filling in your hole. When you get it pretty full, I just like to kind of compact it a little bit. That way it stays and I don't worry that it's gonna like tip over in the wind. And I also want it to grow straight. So I'm also looking at that too, if it needs to be tilted one way or the other. Make sure all the little suckers on the bottom are out. And then just fill it in. After I get it planted, I do like to hit it with some water. That way the soil settles a little bit on the inside. And I know it's gonna get enough water. That's it. Okay, I've got everything else that I wanted to get done except for planting seeds, the fun stuff. I got all the not fun stuff out of the way. So now I'm gonna prep some soil. So I have this giant bucket that I was so graciously given to by my in-laws. I don't know what kind of bucket it is, and I don't think it has any drainage holes, but on the bottom it's got like some rings, so it's interesting. I don't know what it is, but I filled most of it up with the chicken run soil because it has a lot of nutrients from the chicken poop and things like that, basically like a natural fertilizer. And I'm gonna add some different soils into it and then mix everything together. So let's get started. Okay, first I'm gonna add, this is regular topsoil. I picked this up from Home Depot. It's fairly light, so I don't think it's the best topsoil out there. We're gonna go ahead and add to it. I'm only gonna do some of the bag to make it a little bit easier on myself to mix. Now I'm gonna take a shovel to it. I basically want this for, instead of when I want to plant a plant, buying all these bags of garden soil and potting soil, I want my own soil. I don't want to have to go buy soil from the store. So I'm gonna make my own. This way I know exactly what's in my soil, what things I need to add to make it better, stuff like that. Okay, it's fairly mixed up. Now I'm gonna add, oh my gosh, this bag is heavy, some peat humus. Honestly, I don't know what the heck this is. This looks good. So I'm gonna add some of that. Mix that up. And also, once I get my worm farming compost up and running, I can add my compost to this as well. Another thing I'm gonna add to it is bone meal and blood meal, just to give it a little more nutrients. This one is 1400, so it's high in nitrogen. Probably not going to do a whole bunch. I'll probably add some of that to my tomatoes as well. This is the bone meal. It's good. I'll mix that up. Let me tell you, it doesn't smell very good. Okay. Some clumps in there. We get some more.
perlite. To my knowledge, this just retains the moisture better. The little styrofoam balls that you see when you pick up your plants from the nursery. Okay, mix that up. Most of this is still pretty dry, so I probably need to add some water to it just to get the moisture back in it. Okay, another rock. And I'm gonna add my worm castings. Now when I get my worm farm up and running, I won't have to buy worm castings anymore. This is what I have for now. Just gonna add a scoop. Maybe 2. Okay. Black gold, baby. That's what I want. That's my goal when I get my worm farm up and running. Worms are in there. They're doing great. Feeding them some scraps. And then their worm chow. Checking them every day. That's my dirt. So this is what I'm left with. Like I said, it's still a little on the dry side, so I might add some moisture to this, just some water. But overall, it looks really good. So this should have all the nutrients I need for all of my plants. There's some clumps in there. That's it.